What's up, YouTube? So, I wanted to chat real quick about a question that I get asked all the time, and I think this would help, well, hopefully quite a few of you guys out. So, the question gets asked or brought up a ton. Hey man, what is a good time for you name it drill? Track the A zone, bill drill, whatever the case may be. Bill drill at this distance, whatever. You come up with the drill. I've probably been asked what's a good time for that specific drill. Or what should the accuracy standards be like on such and such drill? Um, I, if I'm being real, I hesitate to, give you guys concrete answers when asked that of me, simply because I feel like I'm doing people somewhat of a disservice. And what I mean is, like, if you go to the range and you're only focused on hits in time instead of the actual process to get the hits in time that you're after, hopefully, in your training, I think you're doing yourself a disjustice. Now, are hits in time a good metric? Two metrics, right? For sure, absolutely. However, those are merely like that is the outcome of a drill, not so much the process of the drill. And I think we have to be careful being so like outcome focused rather than the process. And what I mean is, if I'm just super outcome focused, and take for instance, I'm trying to get a 2-second bill drill, right? And I go, okay, I'm just gonna try for a 2-second bill drill. Boom, 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 boom. Up, look at the timer. Nope, 225, 2.25. Nope, didn't make it. All right, let me try again. Let me just try to go faster. Boom, 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 boom. All right, maybe got close. Now, all of us have probably been there at some point or another. However, is that the smart way to train? I think the answer is no, if we're being honest. And it's no, because that is a outcome-based mentality rather than the process of actually going out and training. There's so many times where I will go to the range. Just being honest, I probably don't ever look at the shot timer some of the times that I go to the range. I might just use it as a signal to start, but the time in which I'm doing things isn't necessarily a concern some of the times that I'm on the range. Sometimes the hits aren't exactly a concern of mine while I'm on the range. I should be paying attention to way more minute things. And to me, it's like, and I tell people this at the end of every single class, I think what holds most people back is actually being honest with themselves in terms of how their performance is going. And once you get to the point to where it's like, okay, I can be honest with myself without being emotional about it, and without trying to tell myself like, yep, I'm the best, or the opposite end of the spectrum, nope, I'm the worst. I feel like you could start trying to assess your performance and observe a whole lot more than what you might be observing if you just are chasing times or chasing specific accuracy standards. Be obsessed with the process in which things happen, not so much the outcome. Because if we get obsessed with the process, the outcome will happen. And I think what you'll find is, if you become obsessed with actually doing the process, you'll far exceed the outcome in which you set out to accomplish. And I truly believe this. And I think a lot of the time, when people go out and they're just looking at times, it's almost like that bucket of bullets mentality, where you go, okay, I'm going to try for a 2-second bill drill at 5 or 7 yards, whatever. I got 500 rounds to do it today. That's a very outcome based mindset. Whereas if you had a process based mindset, you might break that actual exercise down and go, okay, what do I actually need to get to that goal of a 2-second bill drill? One might be a fairly sporty draw, but that's not the end of it. Again, that would just be looking at times like, okay, yep, I can rip the gun out of the holster really quickly. But the finer detail stuff is like, do I have a good index, right? Meaning, if I'm looking to a small spot on the target where I want the bullets to go, can I draw the gun and lift it to my eyes and the dot lands exactly where I'm looking, right? And if I don't have a good index, how can I expect not only a fast bill drill, but an accurate one as well? If I have a really good index, I can just draw the gun and see a splash of color near the spot that I'm looking, and I'll see that immediately, and that will be my process in terms of when I start pulling the trigger. I'll just look for a color on the target. But if I don't have a good index, I draw the gun and it's like, oh shit, the dot landed over there. Now I need to readjust to the spot that I'm looking at. Or even worse, maybe you draw the gun and you can't find the dot and you start doing this thing. And all the while you're trying to get that 2-second run of a bill drill, and it's like, you have to be more process oriented rather than outcome based. Man, there are so many classes that I will teach where I don't even tell people the time of stuff. We're just looking at, what was your vision doing? What was your grip doing? Did you look for this one specific cue? Maybe it's like tracking a target through visual barriers. Like, are you trying to look past the visual barriers to try to find the target so the dot lands like right in the middle of the target as we come on the other side of the barrel, etc. There's so many other things that we should be looking at in our training other than time and hits. Again, nothing wrong with time and hits. Are they a metric? For sure. They are a metric in which we can measure things. However, those are just the outcome of what we are actually doing and not so much the process of training. So just some thoughts on that. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the comment box below. As always, happy to answer them for you guys.